Joining me live is the Senior Advisor for Data for Progress, Aiden Smith. Aiden, can you break this down for us for both political parties?
Absolutely. First off, as always, love to be back on the program and always appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. For one, I'd actually like to bring up that Data for Progress conducted polling regarding Roe v. Wade in May of 2022. So this is very fresh data. And we found that 58% of voters across party lines actually favor upholding the Roe v. Wade decision. And that includes, of course, Democrats by a 67% margin, but also independents and third-party voters by a 35-point margin. So it definitely appears that upholding Roe does have a ton of popular legitimacy, and that there is, even among plenty of Republican voters who might lean pro-choice, anger about the court's decision-making. And when we're thinking about the 2022 midterms, this is, of course, going to decide the fate of President Biden's term in office. This could very well prove decisive, or at the very least, a very key factor in a number of close races. We're thinking about swing seats in Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. We're thinking that there could definitely be among swing voters, people who might have voted for President Trump in 2016 and then President Biden in 2020, people who are on the fence thinking about, the whole of issues facing the United States at the moment, domestic issues as well as current foreign policy matters. It could very well prove decisive that, Roe voters, as some people are calling the possibility of, a wave of support for Democratic candidates in support of upholding Roe v. Wade. Though, to be clear, Democrats should not be complacent. As we all know from the 2016 presidential election, Democratic leadership does have a tendency to be complacent in the face of possible failure. But I think that, as it stands, this does likely, at least in the short term, probably benefit Democrats' prospects.
This is a huge issue, isn't it? The whole abortion issue. We saw in and around the last election lines like a broken America, a split country. And this is a topic, a subject, a contentious area where it does split the nation.
Absolutely. And I don't think a lot of Americans appreciate that. In most other highly developed industrialized countries, the debate has been settled long ago. America needs to look to, Australia for one, just like in the realm of gun control, security policy, and healthcare, but also Europe and a lot of Asia have more progressive abortion laws than the United States. So this just doesn't, I think that Americans should take an international perspective here and come to terms with the fact that for some reason, this debate splits the country, like you said, in a way that perhaps no other issue does. But as the Data for Progress polling does show, it does look like support for upholding Roe does have a majority among the population overall.
But it means that politicians need to be very careful.
Absolutely. And, one of the things we've seen in the last 20 years is kind of the decline of the pro-life Democrat, so to speak, in elected office and the pro-choice Republican in elected office as well. And, when we're thinking about polarization, this is one of the issues that has caused such deep partisan polarization, even though, as in general, most Americans do support upholding abortion rights. But as long as when you're in a two-party system, there would be plenty of appetite, I'm sure, among the general electorate for a conservative candidate who nonetheless supports upholding abortion rights. But, as it stands, when it comes to polarization within parties, it has just led to the decline of pro-choice Republicans.